Hey DC players, in this video I'm going to be guiding you guys on the new Augment system that launched on July 18th, 2018. We're going to be going over how to acquire augments, where you can purchase adaptive augments, what the difference is between adaptive and origin augments, tips and tricks on how to level up your augments, and hopefully answer some questions that people have had about this new system. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. If you are new to DC Universe Online, you might be asking, what are augments? It is the new modification system that replaced the socket in our equipment. In other online games, this would be equivalent to gem sockets or armor enchantments. Augments replaced this system due to a couple of reasons, but the main reason is it was changed to make it easier for players to be able to modify their stats to their liking, which this system succeeds at. With the release of augments, players no longer need to worry about crafting mods, aka gems, to acquire bonus stats to deal more damage, have higher health, etc. Players now innately have these augments at all times, and through the revamped Exabytes system, these augments grow with you like the artifact system. Players now have no excuse not to have augments geared towards their playstyle or role, since it is now more streamlined to be properly equipped for content. At least, that was the intent of the update. Anyways, now that I've explained what augments are and the idea behind it, let's go into the beginnings of getting started. As of July 18th, with the transition from modifications, the developers have given us a boost for a limited amount of time for our augments. When beginning the augment system, it's important to complete this quest here called Building a Power Base. This quest rewards you with a box that contains 8 exabytes, 4 damaging golden exabytes, and 4 support golden exabytes. I will go over what exabytes do in a moment, but I wanted to bring attention to that quest for those who do not know. It is also important to note that this quest will only be available for a limited amount of time. Once the transition period is over, the developers will remove this quest, so be sure to claim your golden exabytes when you can. When beginning the Augment system, make note that you must be at least level 25 to acquire your origin augments. Your origin augments are your augmentations that stay with your character forever, and will be your most important tools to level up. As of this recording, there is 20 origin augments in total, with 5 total types. The types are Mighty, Precise, Dominating, Restoring, and Vital. You receive 4 of each type, equaling the 20 mentioned. Your origin augments will be called implants, metagenes, or runes, depending on who you selected as your mentor when creating your character. Don't worry, there is no wrong choice, as currently this is all cosmetic. As you can see, you can equip 4 origin augments at once in any order you would like. If you would like to equip 2 dominating augments with 2 vital augments, you can. Mixing different augments to your playstyle might be good if you're something like a controller or maybe even a tank. The 2 slots above are for adaptive augments. Adaptive augments are much like origin augments. There is 5 different types: Mighty, Precise, Dominating, Restoring, and Vital. However, adaptive augments work like artifacts, in which there are milestones to power up to and unlock perks. The adaptive augments, when evolved enough, will unlock perks for specific content instances. For instance, as of this recording, the cybernetic augments unlock perks for the Teen Titans based dungeons within the game. Each milestone will require catalysts that are earned randomly within the content it is relevant to, which in this case for Teen Titans is the Duo, Alert, and 2 raids. Just to give an example, one of the perks that you can unlock with the adaptive augments is an extra 2% might when running any of the Teen Titans based content. So now that I've explained all the types of augments, let's talk about exabytes and evolving our augments. Exabytes as we knew them have since expired and are now used like the new exabytes at a much lower experience grant. If you have any of the old exabytes, it's recommended to feed them to your augments, as there really is no reason to keep them anymore. This is also true to items such as complex materials, simple materials, focusing elements, etc. With the release of Augments, newer exabytes are now earned in different ways. These include rewards for running content, including dungeons and quests, items acquired from salvaging, and they can be earned, or better described as powered up, from crafting. Much like our Augments, Exabytes also have different types that are represented by color, like the Augments. Exabytes also have a special 6th gray color, but I'll explain what that can do in a bit. First, let's talk about the 8 golden exabytes we acquired earlier. If you are watching this video and this quest is still available, I recommend to you to use 1 golden exabyte per role type. The damaging exabytes can only be used in your mighty or precise augments, and the support exabytes can only be used in your restoring, dominating, or vital augments. The reason you would want to only use 1 per augment is so you have a more even average level in your augment pool. Powering up 1 augment to max might seem like a good idea, but in the grand scheme of things, it leaves you weaker since it would be smarter to power up all your augments versus just 1. Now let's get into the meat of things. As you're powering up your augments with your exabytes, notice the colors I've mentioned earlier. We have 5 types that match our augments: dominating, precise, mighty, vital, and restoring, which would equal purple, orange, red, blue, and green. Whenever you earn exabytes, it's best to match the color type to the augments that you were trying to power up. For example, red mighty exabytes should be fed to your red mighty augments. Simple, right? But why is that? Whenever you feed your augments the matching color type, you gain an extra 50% experience. In the higher levels, this is incredibly important if you want to save time and get higher level augments quickly. This also leaves the question of should you feed your augments off colors that you might not use or care about. To this argument, I would say no. You never know if you might change powers later on down the road. If you're constantly powering up all of your augments to your disposal, then you could generally play any role since your augments would be a decent level, no matter what. Although, I can't deny if you're constantly feeding all of your exabytes to your favorite augments, regardless of the color, it will level up faster. I personally just recommend to save colors and power up all the augments you have, no matter what, especially if you plan to do player versus player, since stats you might not think is useful to you in PvE might be useful in PvP. The last couple things to talk about in exabytes would be our 6th color, gray. The gray exabytes have a couple benefits to them. First, my previous argument of saving colors to their respective augments does not apply here, as the gray exabytes do not get any benefits towards any augments, so feed them to any augments you like. However, they do have an added benefit of having the ability to be boosted via crafting. Anytime you earn a gray exabyte, notice the rarity of it. If it's a blue or pristine as it's called, then it's the highest level exabyte you can earn, and it cannot be boosted further. However, if you earn a flawed, which is a white, or a solid, which is a green, then they can be boosted. I recommend to never settle with using a flawed or a solid gray exabyte if you can help it. Boosting it to a pristine effectively almost doubles the amount of experience it feeds to your augment. I'm also sure you are wondering what that new item is that is required to boost the exabytes called Exomaterial. This is the new item earned from the exobit nodes around Gotham, Metropolis, and other areas. Taking the time to go out and farm maybe 10 to 20 every now and then will ensure that you are always ready to boost any exabytes you might have. Not to mention, members get extra exomaterials from each node, exomaterials can sell for a decent amount if you have a lot, and finally, gathering will also go towards your 25,000 gathering feet if you don't already have it. So now you know all there is to know about augments. Let's talk about a couple different tricks and tips about leveling them up. So the first tip I would give is any old currencies you might have, like ancient coins, ultrabucks, war bonds, can be used to get some cheap exabytes. How? If you happen to have unlocked the cheaper vendor prices, you can get equipment to salvage for as low as 15 marks each, some even lower. Also, as far as I can tell, any piece you salvage will not matter in terms of what quality exabyte you get. So, for instance, if I salvage boots versus chest, even though I salvaged a chest, which costs more, I can still have maybe a flawed exabyte earned. while if I salvage boots, which are much cheaper, I can still get maybe a pristine. My next piece of advice is these are tradable, so if you are low on cash or if you want a quick boost, check the broker. If you can work the prices, you can potentially get a lot of experience for cheap, or the other way around and make a good amount of money to spend on other things you need. Next, any piece you earn from the vault can also be salvaged, so any alts you have, it might be worth running the vault real quick on each one of them, as any equipment piece you salvage from the vault will give you an exabyte that can be traded. Lastly is the exo boosters. You might have noticed in my inventory the gold item in the middle. That is an exo booster. When the developers retired recovery kits, the total recovery kits from the marketplace had to go too. Luckily for those that had some, they toted us to allow them to convert them to exo boosters. Exo boosters can be used in conjunction with your exabytes to boost the experience they yield by 35%. So when using an exo booster, make sure you have a full stack of exabytes to use. That way, you increase the experience the most you can. If you use exo boosters on, say, maybe only 1 exabyte that you feed to your augments, you will be wasting exo boosters that way. You essentially want to have stacks of 4 exabytes each in each slot, and then in the last slot be an exo booster. That way, it boosts the amount of experience you earn to the maximum amount that you could potentially get. Also to note, as of this recording of this video, exo boosters cannot yet be purchased on the marketplace yet. So the only ones that have these currently are members that had total recovery kits, although I'm sure they are coming soon. And also to note, these are not tradable. Lastly, a couple things on the adaptive augments. Currently, there is specific exabytes that yield 100% extra experience towards adaptive augments that you earn in the Teen Titans content. In the future, I am sure this will be true as well. For the most part, unless you have maxed your adaptive augments, always use those on your adaptive ones. Next is the catalysts. Obviously, like OP collections, it's beneficial to have alternate characters that can run current content to earn extra catalysts, or either trade them or sell them. Also, the milestone breakthroughs do have a chance to fail like artifacts, so make sure you have seals ready to make sure that you succeed. So this is going to be a little unscripted here. In my opinion, I love the augment system. I think it's great. It's not too monetized currently, at least since we can't buy exo boosters. Obviously, you can buy seals to make sure you pass the milestone breakthroughs, but there's only a couple milestone breakthroughs for each augment, and currently it doesn't seem too bad anyway since you earn catalysts fairly often. It gives reasons to go back and potentially run older content as well, since you can earn exabytes in old content. Overall, I think it's a great addition to DCUO. So anyways, I hope this video helps any of those who were confused on this system. If it did, leave a like, subscribe if you like my content, and I'll see you in another video. Later.